Hi, I'm Hazel, and this is a guide to the Radiance of Azshara raid boss in the Eternal Palace on normal and heroic difficulty. This is not Queen Azshara, she's later, but if you imagine the Wrath of Azshara boss from Legion's Eye of Azshara dungeon, you'll have a decent idea of what's up. Also, in hindsight, they're not very subtle. This fight flips back and forth between two phases, and in the first one we fight the boss directly on this big floating ring. If you end up in the water, it'll toast you with Radiant Fury, and you don't want that, so a lot of this fight is just about staying dry. You get lots of room to work with, but just remember that your healers have range limits, and if you completely leave them, they can't help you. Tide Fist is the tank swap thing. He'll slap a tank with it, the other tank taunts, problem solved. Arcanado Burst does damage on the ground and spawns tornadoes, all of which you want to dodge. Those tornadoes have knockback, so it's quite important that you don't touch them. If you get Arcane Bomb, run it away from your friends, get a dispel so it stops following you, and then get out of its range. It's exactly like the bomb from Eye of Azshara. Unshackled Power goes out pretty often, and that's just a big burst of unavoidable raid damage. Nothing to do about that except stay in range of your healers and try and put out some encouraging vibes for them. Keep it up, you're doing great. Please don't leave us. Phase 1 continues until the boss hits 100 energy, which should take about 1 minute and 45 seconds. In Phase 2, the goal is to reach and kill the Stormwraith ad while trying not to die. Arcane Bombs continue, and the water is still bad. Ancient Tempest is fogging up your visibility, pushing you away from the Eye of the Storm Ring and doing increasing raid damage over time. Everyone needs to make their way to the Eye of the Storm while avoiding tornadoes. It tends to be on the opposite side of the raid, but the pushback angle should clue you into where you're headed. Squall Traps will spawn around the ring, blocking your path. Touching one will remove it, but do a decent amount of damage and spawn a tornado. Avoid them if you can. If they're completely blocking the path, then someone healthy should pop one, and everyone goes through that spot. In the Eye of the Storm, there will be a Stormwraith ad casting Focus Power. Someone needs to kick that before it goes off. It's very bad if you don't, but try to hold off kicking it until everyone makes it to the Eye. After he's been kicked, he'll start firing off Gale Buffets, which do damage and a knockback. There's no way to avoid that knockback, so be really careful to position so he doesn't chuck you in the water. Get right next to him with a good length of platform behind you. Stormling ads will keep spawning as long as the Stormwraith is up. Stun, CC, and cleave them down, but definitely focus your damage on the big boy. Swirling winds won't be a problem unless you try to take the ads for a walk, just fight them where they spawn. After you kill the Stormwraith, the Squall Traps despawn, and it's back to Phase 1, so clean up any leftover Stormlings and get back to the boss to rinse and repeat. On Heroic and higher, the Squall Traps will not despawn, so you'll need to use the paths you made and maybe make a few more. That is the only Heroic upgrade that we know of. And that is the Radiance of Azshara in the Eternal Palace. Thanks for watching, check out my links for more stuff from me, and have a wonderful, wonderful raid night. Bye!